In this episode of Food Service Worker, we're going to be talking about watching out for count time. Before we get started with this video, we need to make very clear that these videos can be sometimes long-winded, ranted, and they are not for people with the attention span of a person who can't handle that type of stuff. This stuff is meant to be about real talk. It is non-scripted. It is not even edited in any way. So all the background noise, not doing this for clout or any of that stuff. This is like the reality of food service when you're working in the Department of Corrections, a jail facility, and any food service I work in. This is my experience that I share with you. And if you don't like to hear that stuff, then maybe somebody will make you a shorter version of it. That said, we talk about the count time. It's very important that if you are the kitchen people who work the kitchen, that you absolutely do your best to make sure that the food is ready to go and not delay. Because if you get caught up in what is known as count time, that can mean that literally you are now going to possibly be, waiting. Okay, so basically, the boiled down what a count is the facility needs to go over every inmate and every part of the facility to make sure that they're all accounted for. Because if somebody is missing, or a corrections officer gives the wrong number of people, or they're one person short somewhere, and what they have possibly, I guess, is supposed to be there is not adding up to theirs, then they got a big problem on their hands, which could mean that they don't go to the worst case scenario, which means that somebody escaped from the facility. When normally it's what happens is when like they're doing a count and you ever hear of somebody, they found out that somebody escaped from a prison. It's probably when they've done the count. And anyways, that said, I'm not going to go too deep into the whole count thing, but it's very important that you, as the people in the kitchen, it means whatever company you work for food service, in the kitchen, for prison, or for jail facilities, that you get your inmates and they make sure they get the food done and on the carts and those trays are ready to roll. Because if you don't, I'm just going to tell you now that if they go into count, and I've been part of the times where we've ended up going into count multiple times by some weird reason. There has been a time, most recently, where they have done count 4 times. For some reason, 4 times. And I don't mean in one day. I mean like for lunch and dinner. And it was crazy, because that stops you from feeding up. Because they got to take the inmates and put them all in one area, make sure that everybody is accounted for some that may be in like different housing units, but they're all the same level of security. Why they do that, I don't know. That's their reason. But some of the jails normally keep the same guys prison. I don't know why. They're not in the same area or same dorm or whatever. But anyways, so that being said, though, yes, make sure that you are doing your best to get the food out on time and the trays served to avoid count. Because let's just say this, right? Let's say that you are doing feed up, right? And you're doing like, you may have a population that never leaves their cells, and you do have a population that is probably known as like an open population, and they maybe come down to a chow hall to feed up. In jail, probably not so much, but in prisons, they have more of like a a maybe a group of guys, about 200 or more people, inmates that will come down to a chow hall, not all at once, but it could be up to maybe, it just depends, okay? I'm not going to try to say how many number of people, but depends on the day, all that stuff. You could have anywhere to 200 people in a chow hall at some locations, maybe even more for that matter, just to throw a number out there. And the worst case scenario is you say you have maybe 4 carts that have a total of 100 here, 190 on that one, 150 on another one, and like so on. And the food gets done late, and your inmates have to get stopped in the middle of doing the trays, and then when they come back, they go back to doing the tray prepping and all that stuff. And then when count clears, it's now probably time to feed the open population, which is the ones that you could technically say are, I hate to say would be the good boys and girls, but maybe the ones that are less of a problem from now and don't get sent to a area of the jail or prison where they never leave their cell. So they got a little bit more freedom to waddle amongst and stuff. So, that being said, you would now have one side that is not done, and this side now has to be done. And let me tell you something. Oh, man. These days are the greatest. If you are by yourself and you are running the kitchen, it's tough. I'm going to tell you that now. If I don't look tired in the video, man, I tell you what, I should come off as me looking like I am stoned or baked in my eyes. The way my eyes should come off in this video. Because, man, it's grim. It's a real doozy to have to run all around the kitchen by yourself, having to get this and that and this and that for COs when you're by yourself. So, and then there may be things that are very important that you may have to protect, because if you lose it, it's could be a big problem. Like peanut butter sandwiches that are for diabetics, or maybe a fish packet that's for a special diet, or whatever else. Whatever the inmates that highly value that a lot of inmates want and steal, like who knows what. It could be chips, could be cake, could be cookies, and then you have to leave the line for just a brief second, and then you're missing a ton of stuff. Now, and it's a snatch and grab. Patties, chicken patties, all that crazy stuff. It's like it's crazy. And then the other side over there may be people over on that side, inmates on that side over there that are having their way with stuff. And then for some reason, there's a ton of stuff missing over on that side now, where they ran out because now they've been putting too much food on it, and there's nobody there watching it. You're over on that side doing another side of the feed up, or not even at either one of them now. And now there's crazy servings going on. And you come back and you find out, whoa, we just ran out of food. And I'm going to follow up in the video talking about what you should do if you run out of food in a upcoming video. So check that out if you are a food service worker and you don't have a clue what you should do. It should be obvious, but I'll fill you in on what I would do and what I do. And you can go from there. Anyways, that's it for this video here. I'll see y'all in the next episode somewhere. And feel free to subscribe to this channel. Feel free to subscribe to some of... Oh, I already said subscribe, so I failed at that miserably. I'm tired, boss. But mainly I'm tired of making videos. Share these videos with some of your friends, I guess, that may be interested in food service. Save them the struggles of what it's like to have to deal with some of this stuff, and get an idea of what it's like to deal with this stuff on a daily basis if you decide that you want to be there.